What, with like a Supergirl formula or something?
Well, no. Grass is already so interesting. Why bother?
Grass is interesting, and if you're lucky enough to have some that's not going dormant in the heat and less than full watering we're getting, you're doing really well. That would probably mean you got Bermuda going right now, I guess, if you're showing some green right now.
Right now, you got a lot of fescue going south. But don't worry, it's just going dormant.
That's okay.
It'll make a bounce back.
This is the voice of Tommy Cowett with Growing Green. If you'd like to join us for the program, we'd love to hear from you. It's interesting to me, for instance, last week I got several comments about how much people enjoy the show and are really just everything you talked about was the stuff they wanted to hear about regarding their lawn or the condition. And I just want to encourage folks. I'm happy to hear that, but this is a great opportunity. One person called up and said, gosh, can we have a consultation, private consultation?
Absolutely. Just call us up, 854-7999.
And you can come out and do that.
Yes, sir.
And I guess you can also access all this through the website as well, GrowinGreen.com.
Ask the Experts been getting quite a little busy lately. Yeah, people wondering, hey, what's going on? There's a lot of things going on with not just the lawn, but the trees and the shrubs. And, hey, we're seeing all kinds of activity.
I'm sure. But, you know, what happens is we hear a good idea. Oh, I'll go to that website. And then you forget. And if you have a question right now about your lawn, about your bushes, your trees, what's green, what's not, where, you know, you got a lot of sun or a lot of shade, or anything about it, concern maybe that you have, why won't the grass grow in this area, that kind of thing. Call right now. Tommy can give some great inspirational advice at 896-1980, 896-1980, and we'll do our best to help you out over the phone. And if you ever get a question you can't answer, you got some resources too. I think that's great.
Oh, absolutely. And with the internet today, that also helps. And I find it's really kind of it's fascinating to see what's available to us online. I mean, I love it. 10 years ago, forget it. This was not available. You went through all these little pamphlets from the extension office and just ruffled through them. Or, you know, I've got all this written material, books, you know, the Ortho Guide, you know, Master Gardener book that I have that's like, it's almost 6 inches thick. It's a binder, and it's got everything in it from when you complete that course.
Well, the other thing is, and you talk about
now, go to the internet, Google it.
But you talk about completing the course and really continuing education for you and everybody at Growing Green. I mean, this is a professional commitment that you guys make, and the one caveat I would say is, when somebody like Tommy Cowett, who's an agronomist, a master's degree from North Carolina State, has been keeping up, you know, with these continuing education classes for some years now. If something shows up on the internet that it isn't quite right, you're going to know. Whereas the average person may not be able to determine that's really bad advice. And to be able to know the good from the bad is so important at that point, right?
I would say that true. That's very true. You know, the experience that I've had over the years just in my travels around the whole mid-Atlantic region and working with botanical gardens or, you know, whether schools and universities, golf courses, different developments, homeowners, you name it. It's from seeing, you know, the different things. But, man, every day I see something new.
You know something?
And, you know, I see something for the second time and I go, wow, I know what that is. But a year ago, I would have not known what that was. And you could key it out.
And that's one of the mysteries of nature, is to keep always throwing a different curveball or a different spitball or whatever. Because, as they say in the Jurassic Park series, life will find a way.
It does.
And nature will find a way around many times the greatest innovations we have.
Sure.
Right? I mean, it's an ongoing battle. There is no push this one button and everything is set when it comes to lawn care and growing, you know, the kind of lawn environment you want.
Man, it's dynamic. There's constantly things shifting and changing where one insect, you know, was dominating, causing problems one year. And you don't see the other ones. And all of a sudden, this new problem arises because some other type of pest has dominating now. And now it's a shift in population to that guy. where you might have said, oh, that's definitely aphids, you know. Well, you go, oh, well, that must be aphids. Well, no, it's not aphids.
But it looks like
it's
an
a
aphid.
mite now. A mite is causing a problem. Or, you know, you'll see some really just unbelievable changes in plants where the plants will try to ward off problems with mites and grow these little hairs called tomentum.
It actually changes the plant.
The plant will put out a defense mechanism and start putting out these little hairs. They get really thick, and the leaves start to curl up and become deformed. You know, somebody might say, hey, that's herbicide injury. That's caused by the lawn care guy. He just sprayed for weeds. And you go, no way. We didn't have any herbicide in there. There's never been a herbicide sprayed on this property before.
Interesting.
And you're looking at this thing, and you're going, well, it sure looks curled up like it was sprayed with 2,4-D or something. And then you find out that it's not. It's caused by a mite. And you're like, man, it's really fascinating to see things like that.
And you always have to be not just aware of these changes, but also the chemistry or the mechanisms that are at your disposal to be able to deal with that new challenge. You know, it's a different deal fighting, I'm guessing, an aphid versus a mite. Man, we make agronomic decisions that are always changing. I mean, you've always got to change. You've got to adapt. Because that's the nature of nature. Nature's adapting. You got to roll with it. You got to roll with the punches, you know. I think for a lot of homeowners, we look for that secret formula. Okay, I've got that set. Yeah, that'll be it for the rest of, you know, that I need to know. Yeah, right. Yeah, keep doing the same thing over and over again, the insanity thing, you know. Why is it not working now, you know? No, there's always a new set. The fact is, it may have worked really well. Oh, it could work great for a good time, thank goodness. And then all of a sudden, there's a change, you know. And we're going through some changes right now. This heat is awesome I'm still saying it. We talked about it last week with the Bermuda that died off from winter kill. We're getting it all back. We got seed germinating everywhere, man. And when you say Bermuda, some of us embrace the idea. Others look at it like, you know, like a vampire looks at a crucifix. I mean, it's like, oh, no, I don't want this. Yes, we've also started the program, the Pilex program, where we're taking out the Bermuda, the common Bermuda that people don't want in their tall fescue lawn, and that's beginning now. So we're putting that out. That's Bermuda eradication. Takes 3 applications, and it's kind of a different little herbicide that we're using that turns the Bermuda white as your shirt, Bill. How about that? Yeah, it's pretty wild. We're going to come back in just a moment with more of Growing Green, Tommy Cowett, and you guys are out in the field in this kind of weather, and I want to get some tips from you on, for those of us that really love gardening, some things that you professionals do in order to survive and prosper in this kind of weather, being out in it. We'll get to that and much more coming up on AM 980, The Eagle.
Call now. The number is 896-1980. AM 980, The Eagle.
Good morning. It is 9:20, 20 minutes after 9. My guess is when we watch something like the U.S. Open at Chambers Bay, everybody becomes a grass and lawn expert that's watching the U.S. Open. A lot of critics. Now, tell me, all right, we have heard a fair amount of less than favorable commentary about some of the, the vistas, if you will, on the golf course, how the grass was looking. Tell me about the U.S. Open, specifically about Chambers Bay and what you're hearing, what you can tell us that you know as an agronomist at Growing Green, Tommy. I love Chambers Bay. I'm accepting of what it is. You know, this was like a sand mine or a gravel yard. It was a mine right there on Puget Sound in Washington State. Right away, that's problematic, though, isn't it, what you just described? Oh, yeah. It's all been, mined out, bulldozed, and you name it. I mean, it's been, dug up. And it was quite a challenge for Robert Trent Jones II or Robert Trent Jones Jr. Robert Trent has built some Pinehurst courses, famous, even Raleigh Country Club, some of the smaller clubs, really nice country clubs. That's a big name in golf design. Big name, Robert Trent. Now, this is his progeny built this thing, and what a feat it was
to build it. I mean, it's right on a rail yard. And if you watched it on TV, it was on this past weekend, a lot of critics, because this is tawny fescue. No one ever, it's really not common to see a fescue course like this.
And that's because?
Well, I guess it fits the environment up there to grow a fescue course. I mean, most of our grass seed comes from up in that Pacific Northwest, as fescue seed is grown up there.
I see.
And, this is a fescue golf course. So right now it's off color. It's brown. I mean, everybody's usually more accepting of a golf course with lush green fairways. The greens have to be perfect, you know. This was less than perfect. Everybody was looking at it like a bomb went off.
Well, add to that, too, the fact, 10 years ago, before we had Ultra HD everywhere, it may have been a little more forgiving because we can see down to the blade level of the golf course, the grass and what have you, and we can see more clearly. In addition to what you're talking about, this fescue that's dormant. It's
dormant. I mean, it looked ugly to a lot of people, but I hope more people would be more accepting of that when that plant goes into stress. It's coming back out. It's just going through a period of time when it's got to go dormant.
Well, clearly the golf course owners, managers, what have you, understand exactly what you're talking about and knew that this was going to be an eventuality, didn't they?
Sure. Planning that course at that time of the year, I guess they said, okay, well, we're going to have a lot of. It's going to look like a lot of the interchanges right now on the highways where everything's kind of you see a lot of love grass out there, even in North Carolina. Long, everything's kind of tall. It's all up about a foot high. Well, that's the way their rough was. And if you hit it in the rough, you had to get out of that at Chambers Bay. I mean, it was rough. I mean, even Tiger Woods slipped up on these high slopes. But it was really designed to look like a Scottish course, where some of the original golf courses.
Now, I've heard it said, and those of us that, really tune in to watch a golf match, golf tournament, we expect to see, the beautiful, lush green.
Pebble Beach is what everybody wants.
Somebody once told me that a golf course is maybe among the most artificial environments anywhere you'll find.
Most of them are that ryegrass. I mean.
All right, and a lot of artificial means to generate what looks to be you would hope to be a natural setting, but it's anything but, right?
Actually, it's not. I mean, we're planting maybe a non-native species of grass, or it is a native species. They're improved varieties. Today everybody's growing the best they can get. And some of these Bermudas, these hybrid Bermudas, are so beautiful. And the ryegrasses today have developed to look so beautiful. Bent grasses are, really developed to grow at a really, really take a very, very low mowing height.
And if somebody wants to maintain a green lawn, let's say the goal is to have a green lawn all except dead of winter, and even then maybe. But would it be a combination of different grasses coming in? Is that reasonable to do it that way, or is it you need to pick one and hope for the best and extend the season as best you can? What is the answer?
In our region, we can grow tall fescue year-round and keep a perfect 10 lawn until you hit that cold winter. I mean, right now, I've got lawns out here. They might be stressing out in some spots, but, that are perfect for all practical purposes, just perfect. Now, that requires irrigation. And you were talking about fixing the head.
You've been proud of me, because I actually was... I have some lawn irrigation, and one of the heads got hit by the mower blade. Things happen. Roots push them up a little bit. Things change. You're talking about nature. And so I know I should have called you, but I said, you know what? I'm the guy that tries to fix it first, and then I give you really a big job for the professional to come fix what I screwed up. But this time, I need a little elbow joint that was, linking the sprinkler head to the water supply.
Sure, just a little elbow at the bottom.
And I found a supply place. They said
Tills, yes, they're great people.
They are.
Yes, deal with
John.
And
I walked in and I said, here's what I need. Just take it, because it's going to cost us more to write up the order than the piece is worth for like 2 or 4 cents or whatever it was. So that was nice.
Hey, those guys are great, man. They gave you the elbow for free. That's cool.
They did.
Actually, you're going to pay about $1.25 for that at Lowe's.
Oh, really?
Oh,
I didn't
yeah.
know I got such a good deal.
You got a great deal. You got it free.
Wow. All right. I should shop there more often then, I guess. But
they've got some great lighting if you're into doing some lighting work.
But that's another thing that Growing Green, you can advise us about. You know, whether you provide these services or not, you have an extraordinary connection with every vendor out there.
Yeah, we actually have an employee that does some lighting on the side. So, you know, I can definitely refer him to anybody who's looking for some lighting. And you want the best lighting you get, that's what he does. He's got the best equipment.
Now, are you lighting the structure of the home itself or the plant areas?
The plants, yeah, the trees. He's, you know, trained in how to design the lighting so that you get these great effects. It lights up the home. It lights up some trees. You see the structure of the tree, the branching. And
that takes an expertise,
it does.
To put those.
Oh,
right
absolutely. Place. Yeah, you got it's.
Another touch from Growing Green. Thank you very much. We are going to talk next segment, too, about tips for getting through the warm and actually extreme temperatures we're facing on days like today. You still love to garden, and you want to be out there, but you don't want to end up in the emergency room, and we're going to talk to the experts about some great tips coming up.
Call now. The number is 896-1980. AM 980 The Eagle.
Good morning. We're continuing this hour with the Love Your Lawn Hour and Growing Green. Tommy Cowett is with us this morning, one of the managers at Growing Green. You spend a lot of time outside in the really danger zones of temperature and humidity and exposure to direct sunlight. And as a professional, somebody that has to be out there.
Sure.
Can you give us some advice for gardeners of what you guys do to keep your health but still be out? And if you love gardening, you want to be out, but you don't want to sacrifice your health to continue your great hobby. So what do you do?
Wide brim hats, most definitely. Lots of water. I'm using a 70 SPF sunscreen.
Even with a hat?
Oh, yeah.
You're doing that?
Oh, yeah.
And are you putting it on everywhere? Your face, your neck, your arms?
Sure, on the arms, definitely. Yeah. Or I try to keep my arms down. I'm serious. I'm
right.
I'm attuned to this. I mean, I'm
this is the kind
aware
of
of what's going on out there. When I get out in the heat, I get under my hat. Yeah. I use it as an umbrella.
And you actually hold your arms close into you so you're not getting direct exposure.
Or like yesterday, I was driving an aerator and big, wide, 6-foot wide aerator doing an athletic field, seeding it. And man, I just kept my arms tucked in, hat, head down, and just I was shaded for the most part.
And you were fighting for the shade.
Yeah, I don't wear shorts. I quit wearing shorts about 5 years ago outside in the summer because it's just you get burned up, and a lot of being out there.
And what about the color of your clothing? I mean,
light colors will keep you cooler. I know we wear these green shirts, but wide brim hat helps. Definitely, or just a cap, keep it off your face.
But then the tops of your ears, because you're talking about when you're out, you're in direct exposure, maybe for an hour. Or longer, potentially.
I rode that tractor for at least 2 hours yesterday.
What time of day was that?
That was from about 1 o'clock till about 3.
So that's right in the really heat dead zone of the day.
Sure.
And you're out there. The only reason you're able to do it is because you're protecting yourself in the shade.
Yep. And I was shaded by the hat.
Right. Mm-hmm. And then you got some sunscreen. But you're also, you're hydrating. You always talk about
Keep that water right there with you. Mm-hmm. We're going through tons of water right now.
How do you know if, oh, man, I need to take a break? There's some telltale signs that you or others look for? Yes, there are.
The first thing you might notice if you're getting exposed too much is heat rash. And small bumps can form on your arms and legs and your face. It's a heat rash. Next thing that comes in, heat cramps, where you'll just get cramps. Your legs will, for no reason, just start to cramp up. That's heat cramp. Next thing that could happen is heat stress. You might get dizzy. And, this can come on. And then the fourth and worst one is heat stroke.
Okay, and we want to avoid all of these.
These 4. That's kind of the way it goes up. I mean, from heat rash. Then you really need to get hydrated. You need to really get protected, get to a cool area and cool down, and take short breaks all the time.
And if possible, to break up that direct sun exposure, and to look for the shaded side of the house to do, in the
that
afternoon
helps.
and
early in the
vice
morning,
versa.
get out, get the work done. I ran into a guy yesterday. He says, "Hey, I finish all my work by noon and I'm done." But they're getting out there earlier, 5 a.m., 6 a.m. to get some work done, landscape work, and then try to work in the shade. Now, we're working on all these athletic fields right now, so there is no shade.
Not a bit.
Not a bit.
Yes.
Mm-mm. You're wide open.
So you're a great example of the extreme exposure that if you can get out there and survive it, then, the rest of us have a better possibility. But what happens for you, it's a professional thing. You have a time window where you can only so much time you can obligate this personnel and this machinery to whatever the job is.
That's right.
But for a lot of us that if we love gardening, we love being outside. Even so, we get everything ready to go, and we're into the moment. And if we stop, we kind of have to mentally start all over again. And wash your hands, and then you go get them dirty again. Everything. We kind of want to do it all at one time, just as a rhythm of life.
Man, you could have a lot of fun. I think the heat, I have a lot of fun doing landscaping in the heat. I got to admit. I mean, it's an addiction for me.
You find it invigorating?
Yeah, it's same thing as somebody who likes to run in the heat. You see people go, that guy's crazy.
He's a nut.
Yeah, what's he doing out there running today? I mean, it's really hot, like 100 degrees. This guy's running. Well, same thing with me in landscaping. I love getting out there, digging holes and planting things in the heat, especially if there's some water around. It's invigorating. It really is. It's wonderful.
I think there's, some of us are tuned to either really enjoy or have a better ability to absorb that heat than others. And just knowing really your personal limits is important, and giving your body time to adjust. It takes... If you go out there, suddenly, all of a sudden, boom, you're going to spend 6 hours out there on a 95-degree day, and you haven't really been doing much.
Oh, you're
up to
probably
then.
going to run into some heat stress.
That's part of the issue.
Sure.
As well.
Yeah, you're going to end up with you could put your life in danger. Heat stroke.
It's good to have somebody watching out for you too. I think if you have a husband or a wife or a family member that's at home and you're going to be out, let them know you're going to be out.
Sure.
And maybe let them swing by and check on you, because some of these exposure issues can also change your mental capacity. You may not even notice these spots popping up if you're really getting overheated. You may not notice that you are, things don't look quite right, or I'm getting a little woozy out here, whatever.
Exactly. David, one of my texts, man, he said when he got home the other night, he started to cramp up. And so it was hitting him. As he worked, he didn't notice it. He would get back in the truck, which is air conditioned, and drink lots of water. But it wasn't until he got home and probably laid down that his legs started to cramp up. And this was a sign that he was affected by the heat.
And that's the electrolyte imbalance. A lot of times that is giving you that cramping, or causing that. And it's hydration in part, but it's also the right body chemistry. And when you get overstressed. So this is a critically important point, because we do love our lawns, and we do an awful lot to see them through. But we never want it to be the point where we end up having to go to the emergency care place or the hospital.
No, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. You must stay hydrated. Just water itself is going to help you.
All right, beautiful thought and idea, shade, time out to cool down, and what have you, all the above. We'll be back with our final segment of the Love Your Lawn Hour. Growing Green, our guest is Tommy Cowett. The website, that's Tommy Cowett. That's you, Tommy Cowett.
That's me.
And we're going to have more on the last segment here. And the website is GrowinGreen.com if you'd like to go there and find out more about what's going on to help you love your lawn even more.
Call now. The number is 896-1980. AM 980 The Eagle.
9:46, 14 before 10. Good morning. Bill Flynn this morning. It is the Love Your Lawn Hour. Our guest with Growing Green is Tommy Cowett, and the great work that you guys do. And I know Kevin came by the house of Growing Green the other day, And he puts that little sign in the yard, says, hey, we've been here.
Yep.
And then he puts a note, of what he did. And, all right, Bill, you're showing some stress here. We need to get more water, in this part of the lawn. And that's why, the irrigation discussion happened. So that's really helpful because I might see it, but I may not always go to the next step of, okay, what am I going to do to fix this? A lot of us are busy people. We're not home a lot, and we want it right when we are. But to have, that second professional view is helpful and powerful. Talk to me, too, about you love trees, you love shrubs, you love them in the right place.
Very important.
And talk to me about what you're seeing with trees and shrubs in this time of year right now. Are they heat stressing just like everything else?
Sure. I mean, if they're not irrigated, and typically, most people abandon their irrigation after it's grown in for a couple of years. You no longer need it. The plant's established. But they are going into stress, and they're being attacked by insects. I'm seeing a lot of Japanese beetle activity. That's natural. Right now, this time of year, they're all over the place, attacking crepe myrtle. They're attacking, and, you name it. I mean, they're after Japanese maples. So it's good to be protected, and we're doing protective sprays right now.
So you got
We've been doing them. Sure.
You already got the stress of the the temperature and the drought or whatever that's going on, and then you add to that yet another nature stress of these beetle attacks.
The Japanese
and they
beetle
know
is
they're
devastating. And
what is it? What exactly is it doing that causes such harm to the tree? The beetle
munching on the leaves.
Just taking it out.
They are a chewing insect. And they chew your leaves, holes in them, defoliate them. I mean, they're awful. So that's good to get a treatment, preventative spray for those guys.
I'm trying to
or
think.
If you have them out there, it'd be good to get them sprayed. We'll take care of that mess.
Trying to think of a human condition that may resonate with what's happening with that defoliation. And it's almost like lung capacity for the tree. But that's where the photosynthesis is happening, where the tree is taking.
Foliage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you lose that, the ability of the tree to actually generate nutrients is removed. It's almost like you can't breathe, or you have to breathe really shallow.
The plant has a factory to make its own food. It's in the leaves, and it's, if it loses it, you're going to set your plant back.
I see.
Another thing that's out there right now that's really, really active is mites. And I saw some mite activity yesterday. I wouldn't want to be on that property. It is just, we can do a spray right now. He's got to get that done immediately.
Is it real common for those mites, if it breaks out in one lot in the neighborhood, that they tend to kind of just spread out, or does it depend upon the foliage that's available to them?
It seems like it's the susceptible plant that they like, and now you can tell which ones they like. I mean, you can really see some stress on plants from mites, and they're just exploding, in number, and it's a sucking insect, so it's going to, it's really going to devour. It sucks from inside. It's going to, steal from the plant, and it's almost invisible because they're very hard to see. I use this little hand lens wherever I go to see them.
Really?
I can see them, and it's a 10x hand lens. It's really called a linen tester. These things are fold-out little magnifying glass that has a certain distance you keep from the foliage, and it gives you the perfect view when you look through that little window. Now, these were used for, back in the textile industry to look, I guess, at the knitting, and they're also widely used in print departments, but they're called linen testers. They're really great. Folds out so it stays protected in your pocket, and you can get online and find them on Amazon for $10.
Pretty nifty, but I think
really
a lot of
cool. I would not know what to do without that.
Use it that
able
much.
To really look closely and see the mites.
And you can actually see them moving around with this lens.
Oh yeah, big time.
I think a lot of people that you may not think, even adventurous gardeners, that you're going to need a
If I was a gardener and I had some good plant material, I'd get one of these and start to learn, because you can get online and learn to find out what is attacking, and then go look and go, aha, there he is.
On that thought, if I see something in my lawns, whether I'm not sure if it's a mite or what kind of beetle it is or whatever, if they're, can I mean, for instance, I want to have you come over and consult.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that problem comes and goes, and I want to take a picture of it. And can you tell from a cell phone picture?
Sure.
Or sending a picture to the website what the issue is? I mean, can you even do that right now?
Sure. We've got a customer, Carolina Orthopedic, that has a really great plant collection in Greensboro. I mean, this doctor went out and he designed this landscape around it. Now we're working on it to keep it protected. They've got an azalea issue over there. So David was there this morning and met with Samantha, and she showed him the plants, and he just shot me the picture, and I'm looking at it right now. He shot it to me on my way over here, so I really haven't time to look at it, but I could see what it is, and I'll get back to them just a little bit, and he's going to do a treatment on that plant. But it's a typical little disease on azalea, so we'll be taking care of that. But they were concerned about it.
You know, this is one of the times of the year where we're talking about the stress of plants, but something that seems to love this time of year are certain types of weeds. They will just come up overnight, and suddenly you got a boom.
Oh, God, the weeds, that's another thing right now.
Talk to me about that.
Oh, man, right now weeds are going nuts. I mean, we've got buttonweed on the run, and it's come out really going tenfold right now. Nutsedge going nuts right now.
How do you know which one you're dealing with here? If you're the homeowner, I mean, can you easily tell?
You can get online and definitely, I guess you really ask an expert was the best way.
So go to, again, Growing Green.
Sure.
GrowinGreen.com, GrowinGreen.com.
Right.
Would be a resource to say, what have I got here?
There's a lot in our video collection and everything else. We do in John's Clover blog. There's a lot of information that's always available on that website. So, just go to the GrowinGreen.com, ask the expert. You'll get an answer, and shoot us a picture of what the problem is. We can definitely key things out from a picture.
If I see a weed that's come up overnight or over a day or two where I have been inattentive, my first thought is just yank that sucker up and be done with it. I mean, is there better advice? And I don't have a big problem because of the pre-emergence that you and I have talked about on the show before.
Oh, yeah.
But,
anytime you can do that. I've seen Chuck Ream, one of our, he's kind of my counterpart in sales. He likes to stomp on a weed. Just stomp on it and grind it into the ground.
Does that work?
Yeah, a lot of times it busts up the cells, and then when we come by to do a treatment,
really? Okay.
You're going to get more penetration into the plant. Because what he's done there is by smearing that plant in the ground, and he's got a grin on his face when he's doing it. And he knows he's busted the cuticle of the plant there on the leaf. The real waxy surfaces on some of these weeds are very difficult to control. It's because their leaf is armored, so to speak. It's almost impenetrable from a herbicide
unless
standpoint.
you smash it like
he grinds it up, and then you get better penetration from the herbicide.
And as far as disposal of that weed, so it doesn't share its weediness with other areas, I mean, do you want to necessarily put it in your in your recycling zones, or, if you're doing a mulch, is that a place to put it, or do you not put it in there?
I throw it out into the woods where it won't grow. Throw it out into an area where it's, like leaves and things where it's not going to ever take hold. It wants to be in the lawn. It doesn't want to be in the woods. It wants to be out in full sun, whatever the weed is. I mean, I don't think you're definitely not going to inoculate a forest with some lawn weeds, typically. So throw them out into the woods. That's usually a safe bet. Or I just throw them down on the ground, let them bake in the sun, and they die.
Okay, and it's not going to spread itself if you do it that way. It'll
usually not.
Okay,
and we're putting out a pre-emergent, so the seeds are not going to germinate at all. But what I carry a pocket knife with me wherever I go, and if I see things like Dallas grass or broom sedge, it's in a lawn, I'll go and cut it out with my pocket knife and just get rid of it, because that's a perennial weed. It's going to take a long time to do it. So
good advice.
It's the way to go.
Well, our time is gone. I want to thank Tommy Cowett at Growing Green. I invite you to go to the website to ask the expert at GrowinGreen.com. 1-866-LAWN-HELP is your phone number, correct?
That's right. 854-7999 is another number you can call.
Hey, good to see you. We'll see you next time. AM 980, The Eagle, Bill Flynn. It is the Love Your Lawn Hour.